Good morning and welcome to this week's Positive Recovery with Corinna, being made for www.sobertownpodcast.com, where there are lots of great resources, and also my YouTube channel, Positive Living with Sobriety and Disability. So I'm going to open my jar today and dig in, and we have self-care. Wow, we talk about self-care quite a lot in sobriety, but it's something that's really important for us throughout all of our life, whether we're drinkers or not, and it's something that we don't do very well. And self-care, can just be the absolute basics. I remember at the very end of my nursing career, I was going to work each day and I'd have this little mantra, which would be, today I'm going to eat when I'm hungry, I'm going to drink when I'm thirsty, I'm going to wee when I need to wee, and I'm going to take a break when I need to. Because I didn't do those things, you end up putting everybody else first, and life gets so busy that we even forget to do the absolute basics, which is imperative, And if we can't do the basics for ourselves, then we're really not caring, are we? At all. I've actually just written a little bit about Maslow's Hierarchy of Need in my book, which kind of tunes in quite well, I think. So I'll just read this. It says, Abraham's Maslow theory on human motivation. This covers the 5 areas and our foundation and the physical things humans need to actually survive. Food, water, shelter, air, sleep, and clothes, and reproduction. Without these, we cannot achieve the other areas of safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, and the desire to become the best we can. Now just think about how alcohol affects our very basic needs. It dehydrates us, it stops us absorbing nutrients, it stops us from eating well, it affects our breathing of that precious air, it disturbs our sleep, it affects our fertility and sexual performance, and for many it robs them of their homes. How on earth can we feel good about ourselves and life if we are robbing ourselves of our basic needs? So for me, stopping alcohol is self-care, because it's the number one thing we can do to look after ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And that's what we need to be. We need to be compassionate and kind to ourselves and look at the very basics of self-care. Another thing I've talked about before that I use is my maintenance plan that I use daily, and that includes a routine of going to bed. I have a sleep hygiene routine as well, of times that I go to bed, wind downs that I do to get to bed to get a good night's sleep, because that is self-care. And then I have times that I get up and go to bed, and it includes things like getting up. I have to have a shower every day at some point in the day, not necessarily straight away, but at some point, because that again is self-care, and that is helping me to get to my best. The other things on my maintenance plan, just wandering over it to here on the fridge, is to pace, to do my physio exercises and yoga stretches. That's one thing I'm not very good at, so today I will really commit to that self-care, to doing those. To eat healthily, sitting down and chewing well. To use mindfulness, which many of you know I use mindfulness each day, just even to walk sometimes. If I'm having a bad day, my legs go one way, when my mind's thinking they're going a different way. I do this thing called crabbing, where I walk sideways. So I have to use mindfulness to really bring me back to the moment. But mindfulness as well, we can use in every given moment of every day. Just living in the now, catching ourselves with our mind running ahead, making mountains out of molehills, and bringing it back to the moment, feeling the sunshine or the rain on us, smelling the flowers, looking around, seeing what we can see. That's all mindfulness. It doesn't mean you have to sit down and meditate with mindfulness. When you're making a cup of tea, just look how if you're using tea bags, the tea changes the colour of the water. Smell it before you taste it and drink it. That's mindfulness. The other things on my maintenance plan is drinking plenty of water, avoiding alcohol, take pain relief when I need it, get outside, Get outside every day. We need to get outside. We need 30 minutes of unfiltered sunshine every day for our serotonin and our vitamin D. Really does help us feel good. And if you can't get outside, just sit by a big window, or get yourself a light box. One of the SAD, seasonal affective disorder, light boxes, and sit in front of that. That can really, really help. Ask for help. That's part of my maintenance plan, and that is self-care too. That's something I used to really, really struggle with, and still do a bit. But thanks to one of the books I read, which was the boy, the horse, the mole, and the fox, or something in that order. It says in there, "What's the bravest thing you ever said?" And the answer was help. And it is. It's really brave to say help, but it really is good. Tackle something you've been putting off. That's on my maintenance plan. Just one little thing, because they all build up, don't they? Just one little thing. For me today, it's this podcast. I have been putting it off because, even me, even Corinna Dotty Pot has her confidence lapses. Have an afternoon nap, and then bed by 9, lights out, and everything electrical off by 10. And the other thing is use acceptance, live in the now, and stay curious. So that's my maintenance plan. And that thing about staying curious, I'm you would have heard me say before that everything happens for a reason, and I've written a bit about that in my book too. And my friend who's proofreading it said, that's okay, so long as we learn from it. And I thought, yeah, that's good. That's about staying curious, isn't it? Everything does happen for a reason, even the really, really sad things. But it's just about us learning from that experience and making it mean something to us. So that's just some little ideas on the basics, the fundamentals of self-care that many of us, whether we're drinkers or not, we skip those in life. We don't do them. We're so busy. A lot of drinkers are empaths as well. So we're so busy looking out for everybody else, looking after everybody else, that we forget to take care of ourselves. And it's like, who's taking care of us? Nobody. Have you ever caught yourself? No, I have. I'm running around looking after everybody, and who's there for me? I've had those moments. And now if I catch myself doing that, I'm like, Corinna, you're there for you if you just let yourself be there for you. So it's really, really important that we show up for ourselves each and every day. Each and every moment we need to be there for ourselves. Who's taking after the caretaker? We need to be taking care of us and not looking for other people to do it for us. And when they do, it's lovely, but don't expect it, because that's one of life's upsets, isn't it? Unfulfilled expectations, that we have all these expectations that don't get fulfilled, and they make us upset. So the other thing that's life upsetter is communication, undelivered communication, where we don't communicate. And when we think about it, that is self-care, communicating our needs. We can't expect other people to be mind readers. We have to, say what it is that we want, and we have to ask, and we have to tell. But sometimes we have to practice and rehearse and do it in a nice way, and a best way. And that, again, is self-care. It's protecting ourselves. It's protecting our own existence and well-being. And moving on from there, we have the other self-care, don't we? The really nice stuff. So this weekend, or this Friday, I'm going for afternoon tea with Andy. And then we are going off. He's going to have a manicure and I'm going to have a massage, which was actually a birthday present from my son and daughter-in-law. But it's something desperate that's needed for Andy and I to go and have some nice time together and have some self-care, because he really has been through the mill, and I've been through the mill as well the last few weeks. So, we need to go and do that, and it's nice to go and do that together. Other self-care things are things like, instead of having a shower, have a nice bath with lots of bubbles and lots of candles. Getting out for a walk each day is self-care. Gentle exercise, keeping ourselves fit, eating healthily. Again, these are all basics really. But if we do it, taking multivitamins if we need to, taking our medication when we need to, it's all self-care. But other good things are, treat yourself. Go out somewhere nice for the day. I'm aiming to get out on Bumblebee later today. I don't know if I'll manage it because my back is still pretty ropey, but we might just have a little potter. That for me is self-care because it's great fun and it stimulates my mental health. And the other thing with self-care is about pacing, because sometimes it's very tricky to balance our mental health and our physical health. I know for me, when I'm really bad physically and I can't do what I want to do, then mentally I get quite upset. And then mentally I'll do something to mentally stimulate myself and it will upset me physically because I've done too much. So pacing is really, really important. So what can we do as well to get out and have fun? Manicures, pedicures, massages, afternoon teas, reconnect with people, take up a new hobby, find new people to be with. You know, is there something you've been wanting to do for a long time and never done it, or something you want to revisit and redo? A little hobby, a little group, go meet new people, get out and do things like that. That's all part of self-care too. I'm looking at booking a float soon, which is like a little massage and then a sea salt heavy float. I know a friend Polly did one of them recently and loved it. I've also booked a retreat again with Hound. We went to one a couple of months ago. We're going to go to another one in July. We had a ladies' health spa that we did. But these are things you can do on your own. You don't need to do them with other people. Connection is good, but there's not always people that want to do them with you. I've taken myself off to the cinema before because nobody wanted to go and see that film. I've taken myself to the theatre before on my own because others didn't want to go. Reading, taking time out, listening to music, playing your favourite song, having a little boogie, putting a tea towel on your head and dancing around your kitchen, as my good friend Lilo got me to do in the very early days. All of these are really, really good self-care and connecting with other people too. As I said earlier, I was like, a bit down on myself, couldn't really get the motivation to do this. This is something I've been putting off, so I've done it today. And that's thanks to my good friend King, who left me a beautiful voice message to say how much she loved my last podcast and how much she loves what I'm doing. And that just gave me the spark to get back on and do it. So kindness and positive feedback is self-care, you know, for other people, but also for yourself as well. It helps. I was just writing something on kindness as well. And actually, there was one research paper was showing that when we do something kind, it actually raises the serotonin in the giver and the receiver, and other people around that witness that event as well. So anything we can do to boost our serotonin levels is going to be good for self-care. And if you do meditate, I'm just quickly flicking through my book while I talk. I've just written something on, I might have written it under kindness. I can't remember what I wrote now, but it was something, I've got it in a book that Hound sent me after our retreat called I Met a Monk. So I've been reading that and that's really good. And she was talking about metta, that's right. That's what it would be under. And metta is loving kindness. And to be kind, we have to start with ourselves. So if you do meditate, even if it's just a few seconds for a day, at the very end say, may I be well. May I be happy. May I be safe and free from harm. I wish that from all of you today, and I hope you have a really good one. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Not another drop no matter what.